want you to continue listening to the easy listening Tommy. He's been our music man for days.
One more run, let's go!
And 17 is open. Go check it out.
This is our second of two 400 before we begin our fourth and final heat of our women's monobob competition. All fighting down to push-up.
Moments away before we start with our first competitive sled and fourth and final heat for the women's monobob. 20 sleds in the field. 20 sleds in the field. Breeze, reverse order by rank. So your leaders will be the final sleds going into round number 4. Determine who's the monobob world champion.
This is going to be so exciting, Carl. I cannot wait. In every sled, there's something in the race for every single person all the way down the ranks.
Starts with a 50-meter push. There's no rule. It says when they have to load. You have 60 seconds to push off that block. 15 meters into it is where it trips the photo cell. Then they run down, and both runners are in the drive line to facilitate and pushing that sled in a straight line. They drive, they brake, they push. Women's monobob, the final run coming up in just a few moments.
Final heat of the IBSF Women's Monobob World Championships. We're in Lake Placid in the upstate area, the Adirondack Mountains of New York. Welcome back, everybody, to coverage of the fourth and final heat of the Women's Monobob. Yesterday was International Women's Day. Today is World Championship Women's Day, the first of two, because next weekend they will go again in the Women's Bob. But first, it is all about the driver, isolated in the spotlight. No safety net. And after three of our four heats, Riley Tetchek, Alana Myers-Taylor has driven herself back into a medal position.
And she has. We could see USA 1 and 2 on her home track, and Alana is an absolute beast of an athlete. She's great at the top. She knows how to drive. She's been in this sport for like 20 years. She's one of the best drivers you'll see in this competition. And
just 700s ahead of her, Lauren Alter, last year's world champion, the year before's world champion. Nolter going for a three-peat. She lies 1700s off the lead.
And not far off either, Martin. This athlete knows how to win. She is always at the top in mono and two-man, and she is right there within grabbing distance.
But what a story. 3 years ago now in the games, Keisha Love was a break athlete. Now she is looking to try and win the World Championship gold in monobob after just 2 seasons of driving. She is our leader, has been since the first moment on ice.
She has a pretty good lead here going into this heat, but like we know, anything can happen on this Lake Placid track.
Exactly. Look at Katy Bile, 3900s back. Overnight, she was in the silver medal position, just a few hundreds, 2 off the lead. So it's not how fast you can make the sled go, it's how much you can limit the damage that the track has in store for you. 21 sleds came into today's action, and Thailand's 18-year-old Neze Kampiol is the one who did not get through into the final heat, but she is heading back to glorious Thailand for a summer of training to come back fitter and stronger next year. So air temperature is climbing, the wind has dropped, the sun is out. It is a beautiful early spring day here. Ice temperature 4.8, not quite as cold as it was yesterday. It won't be quite as hard and fast, but it should be good. You've just come down in one of our Forerunner sleds, so you know exactly how good this track is feeling right now.
The track feels nice. It feels ready. I think these girls are going to put together a solid fourth run. My goal and hope for each one of these athletes is that this fourth run is their best one. They can finish monobob for the season on a high.
Yep, absolutely so. And of course, some of them will be looking forward to potentially taking away a medal. Adana Johnson of Jamaica will be the first away, the youngest in the field at just 17 years of age, followed by Chinese Taipei's Xin Ronglin, then Ana Garcia of Spain. Some of our debutantes in the World Championship. We had 5 first-time World Champion competitors, and 4 of them made it through. And it will be Keisha Love who goes off last to defend her slender lead. Anywhere else, 1700s is a lifetime. Here, it's just one tiny error. Fourth and final heat of the Women's Monobob World Championships in Lake Placid. 17-year-old Adana Johnson for Jamaica in 20th place after the first 3 heats. She makes the cut, and she goes for the 4th and final time.
Excited to see what her start is here. 6:44. Overall, much better than she did combined yesterday.
Yeah, a 37, a 38 her first heat, a 44 her second, and actually she's driven really nicely for somebody who's got so few trips in any monobob. She's only done 8 monobob races in her entire life.
Incredible. This is not what I look like 8 runs into my bobsled career.
Well, at the top of the table, you've got athletes who have done 8 World Cup races this season, never mind in their whole career. So this is an astonishing performance from the youngster.
It's so awesome seeing the Jamaican program come back on the men's and women's side. They're younger athletes, but they're learning a lot. And look at this drive right now. Amazing chicane. Not everyone is even doing that in our top level field of the athletes. So she should be really happy. Going to cross the finish line. No worse than 20th in the world from Jamaica in bobsled.
So first time racing names that she's probably only seen on TV or read on result sheets. And Adana Johnson makes the field. She is a top 20 finisher in the World Championships. And another first for her. She will go into the leaders box. And that's something that doesn't happen anywhere other than World Cup or World Champs.
And so if anyone's not familiar with this format, we are starting the slowest to the fastest. So if you're in that leader's box and you stay, that means you moved up in space, and you will see a lot of happy faces when that happens.
Yeah, 20 down to 1, last to fast, however you like to say it. So every sled should have an advantage, big or small, over the ones that have preceded it. But it doesn't always mean that that's how it ends up. So there you go, Adana Johnson, 17-year-old sprinter from Jamaica. Well, what the Jamaican summer program has lost, the Jamaican winter program may well have just gained a young star. And from Korea, Lim Sin Rong, the Korean luge program has lost her. She was a 2018 Olympian. I beg your pardon, she wasn't. She was a former luger, turned to bobsleigh. She's had 6 monobob races in her career, even fewer than Adana Johnson, but critically, 2 of them were here.
And for Chinese Taipei, they do not have their own track, so they are on rented equipment. She has mentioned that that's been a struggle all season for this athlete and this team, but it doesn't mean she's not loving it. She's not going to put together good runs.
And she has a feeling for ice as well, even if not much of it translates directly to the monobob. She knows what ice does and what feels like good pressure and not good pressure. The pressure of the sled being pushed up into the corner by centrifugal force, that's what allows you to make steers, allows you to have control of the sled.
It's about manipulating pressure in the sport of bobsled, which takes a time to learn in and of itself. But as a luge athlete and now in the driver's seat in a bobsled, she knows how to manipulate that pressure, and she's doing it well.
Well, there's 2 sorts of pressure. The pressure from gravity and centrifugal force, and the pressure you put on yourself to compete, and you have to deal both.
Really good run that she's looking like she's having here. If you can see, the track is much, much quicker.
Yep.
There's no snow without that wind and the snowy conditions, so the track is going to be nice and smooth, and athletes are really going to like feeling their runners and having that feel for the ice.
Her third heat down, the first today, was a 61.14, 61.43, so a little slower than her first heat. Again, that might be down to a little bit more steering in places to keep the sled online. Might just be also that the warmer afternoon temperatures have softened the crust of the ice a fraction.
You can still see the lines that other athletes are taking. You can see that is not the line that you really want to do when she skids out a little bit there. But this is all learning. I do anticipate us seeing her for the 2-woman races. She's going to take everything she learned in a mono and apply that on the 2-woman.
And you don't have a steering wheel like a car. You pull ropes on this or cables. So like a soapbox derby, you pull right, it turns the axle right. You pull left, it turns the axle left. So watch the front runners. You'll see how much or how little steering they're doing. Our next debutante is Liana Garcia for Spain, the 29-year-old, 10 races in monobob. She took a medal in Europe in the race in Sigulda, but has not raced here.
Let's see what her start is. 6:25, still better than what she did yesterday. Not as good as the Heat 3, but she's excited to be here. This athlete has only done monobob this season, so she's trying to just focus on this one discipline. A lot of our athletes will do monobob and 2-woman, but she has the advantage to just try to get really good at this one skill so close out to the games.
Imagine being a sprinter, and at the end of your first track season, you're in the World Championships. That's the kind of mountain that she's presented herself with. But a nice try, little skid there. Actually, do you know what? She's really got good control on the sled.
She does, and it's about, can you make a mistake and can you get it back on track? We have lines that we want to take, but when things go bad, how fast can you get back on track? And that's what she did here.
Yeah, speed of reaction is absolutely everything. This is not, once you're sat down, it's not physical, it's all mental.
And it's coming at you fast. It may not look like it, but you don't have a lot of time to think.
Well, fans on the trackside, and there is Lin from Taipei. Fans trackside, surprised by how quick the sleds whip by you, because 75 miles an hour when you're a foot away as you are beside the track. Boy, that's quick. The TV cameras give you a nice long view of everything, particularly in slow-mo.
So here's where she messed up. Very low line, which gives her a lot of height at the exit of 10, which is giving her no pressure, so she just fell out of that corner. You can see she's rising here. She's going to drop out and fall, and that's where she hit on that right side. That costs her a lot of time. But overall, great jobs. History made for the country of Spain. Her former teammate, Erica Voss, in the coaching box there for her. We love the support of everyone in our community in the sport of bobsled. Great job, Liana. Congratulations.
Yeah, Canadians helping her out with the sled there. It's lonely when you're on your own. And for the Czech Republic's Patricia Chakdarova, they've got plenty of coaching here as well. Czech Republic with athletes in the men and women's skeleton, men and women's bobsleigh as well. So they're covering all the disciplines here. For Patricia, again, another young athlete, just 22 in her second Worlds. Finished in 22nd place in Winterberg on her debut. And she is in 17th position after 3 heats on a track where she has never driven before this week.
She should be extremely proud of that. 6:03, fastest start time that she's had in all 4 heats. That's what we want to see. Your best effort, everything you got, leave it all out on this ice.
Yeah, go out and get it. Big skid from 2 to 3. Takes a square tap, straightens up nicely into 4.
This Czech slider is one of the few athletes that isn't too close to in the slider above her or behind her, so she's really just going to look at having a good run. Can she have her best downtime on her final heat?
And again, so much when you're learning, the metric is how you are compared to how you were. That's how you judge your progress.
Overall, looking much better than at least her first heat that we saw her here. I think she definitely feels settled into this track, is learning beautiful chicane right there, #1 speed.
Yeah, holding her 1 second advantage over Liana Garcia. Nice run down into the heart through the sunshine in corner 17 and across the line, a 60.88 run. So Liana says goodbye from the leader's box, and that is quicker than her first heat down, Patricia Chaknarova. So that's a really nice run from her. She finishes on a high, and that is her personal best in the World Championships.
Awesome. You can see she's so happy, giving everyone a high five. She should be. Her season in monobob is over. A little bit of mistakes here at the top. She still had that skid coming out of 2. And again, in a mono, that happens too easily. But she will try to get that back on track if she does decide to go in 2-woman.
Yeah. You can see her leaning right back there to try and get weight back in the sled. You position the seat as far back as you can make it usually to try and balance out the front and rear axles to stop the back just skidding around behind you. So there's Patricia, 22 years old in her second World Championships. Next up, 16th overall, Adele Nichol of Great Britain. Now, she would be expected to do a little better than this, but she's in a rented sled with a bent axle that they cannot fix. So although she's driving nicely from the front, the back is just slowing her down all the way.
6:03 start, that is better than what we saw in heat 3. Again, that's what we want to see out of our athletes. Really good speed here. Can she just drive and be proud of it? That's all we want.
Little tap 2 to 3, which is unusual. The standard tap out of 3 she takes. Third best speed.
Highway looks really nice right here. Nice and flowy and smooth. That sled isn't jumping up or climbing down, just gliding nice and easy.
Well, she has her own sled for next week's women's bobsleigh race, where she will be trying to get in the medals as she did in the World Cup here last year.
She's driving really well right now, even on a sled that maybe isn't giving her speed. The chicane was great, her highway was great. That's what you want. You want to just put a good run together, even if you're not in the best equipment. That breeds confidence, that lets you know going into the 2-woman week, you now have a fighting chance because you know how to drive the track. Ducking her head there to give her a little bit more.
60.91. So she comes down, this coach Sean Olsen, and she will be chasing down the 15th place sled of Kim Uran, the Korean slider, just 22 hundredths in front. So any major mistakes from her rival can offer Adele a chance to come in. She made that little tap 2 to 3. That's not common.
And then you see Shady here. All athletes are taking all different kinds of lines. You see that she's dipping, coming here. She rises a little bit, but holding it to come back down. She exited really nice out of there. And her chicane. That's what you want to see. Just putting together the most critical parts of the track, getting that confidence, and getting ready for the next discipline.
100%.
Let's go to the 2-woman.
And look, her brakeman's smiling behind her like, I'm ready.
Yeah, Kai will be ready with her. So I did say to Adele, don't be gentle, it's a rental, but she did, and she will hand it back in the same condition she got it. So for Kim Uran, a 2018 Olympian for Korea, this is her second World Championships. She was in 14th place in Altenburg 2021 on her debut.
And she is a phenomenal driver. She's been out driving her starts every single time. A 6:13, fastest start time for her in Heat 4. Again, way to go, Kim. That's what we want to see.
Yeah, 21, a 22, a 15, and now a 13. So upping the ante. She knows there's pressure from Medaillen-Entscheidungen behind. She's holding that advantage. It is 1200. It's coming down to a 1/10 of a second, but best speed.
She had a really nice top of the track there, and that will definitely carry over. She doesn't always have the strongest start, but man, this girl can drive.
All right, now she's turning that decreasing gap into an increasing margin over Medaillen-Entscheidungen, out to 2100s up.
Lines look flawless here.
A good chicane.
Great chicane. That's going to help her a lot. I think she will remain her lead throughout this as long as there's no spill here. And great job, Kim.
That seals the deal. Across the line, she's going to be half a second up and maybe more than that from Medaillen-Entscheidungen. It is 6200, 60.51 run. So actually that run alone was 4/10 quicker than the British slider.
That was a great run by Kim Uran. She should be very, very proud of that, finishing on a strong note. She also was in the NAC much better in the two-woman due to her push. I do think that next week we will see her maybe in the mix a little bit more for top 10 because her driving skills are definitely there.
Yep, and she knows these tracks well. And concentrating on North America's Cup over the last couple of seasons. Big skid there as she tries to hold the line with the nose. And the back runners just aren't having it, and that's the lightness that Rhea has said. She sits right forward as she would do in a two-seat sled. I mean, it is the same size as a two-seat sled, but there's nobody in behind her.
And what you can see is great driving position. You can barely see her eyes over the cowling of the sled, which means she's trying to be as aerodynamic as possible. If your eyes are the only thing above it, you're nice seated low, and that means you're comfortable driving.
And you'll see some of these athletes looking around the cowl rather than trying to see over the top. They sit so low, like Melissa Lottholz of Canada, 14th place. And she has a 3/10 of a second advantage over Kim Uran.
The slider that's very familiar with this track. The 590 push, that's exactly what she pushed in Heat 3, so she will be happy with that. That's what she needed to keep her lead over these athletes.
So 1.5 up. But yes, I missed that. Kim is a second and a half back, not half a second back. So 1.57, adding a little bit of speed to Melissa Lottholz.
Melissa was one of these athletes that was a brakeman, transitioned to the driver's seat, had a lot of success on North American Cup, got moved up to the World Cup, and is just trying to compete with the world's best.
Yeah, she took a couple of seasons off after the 2022 games, got her head back into gear and came back out smoking last season in North America and Europe Cup, and this year in the World Cup as well.
Number one speed, shot the chicane, very nice at the bottom. She definitely is going to continue to add into her lead that she currently has over these other ladies.
Now, is there going to be a challenge for Andreea Grecu of Romania? I think there might be. Lyndon Rush and Justin Cripps, world and Olympic medalists both. Melissa Lottholz, that was a pretty decent run, 60.11. She had a 60.18 in the first heat, so she's the first to go quicker than their first heat this afternoon, Heat 3. So that could really put pressure on the next sled or two.
Between her and Grecu, there's just 0.14 of a second. That is going to be close. Melissa just had a really nice run. Grecu's going to have to push hard and drive well here to maintain her lead over Melissa.
Grecu 1400s up, 1600s ahead is Deborah Annan, 2200s ahead is 11th place Kim Kalicki. So we could be in that little group where you see big changes. Closest to us in the bobble hat is Teodora Vlad, number one choice of brake woman for Andreea Grecu next weekend. And the Romanian team celebrating a strong 8th place finish in the two-man for Mihai Tentia, the best Romanian bobsled finish in decades.
That was incredible to see, and we know Andreea wants to be right up there. If she's not able to do it in mono, she's going to give it everything she can in two-woman. Normally a really strong starter here, 593. Not her best start, but it should be good enough.
Well, the gap comes down to just 1100s over Melissa Lottholz. She can't afford any mistakes. She doesn't have the velocity of Lottholz away from the start, so that is pretty impressive that she's brought it back to 2200s up at top speed.
She is a phenomenal driver, Mark. We've seen it. She has the potential. She just has to kind of find it on this track, a track that she hasn't spent a whole lot of time with in the past couple of years.
Absolutely so. Nice looking run down through the labyrinth. Out of 14, Benham's Bend.
Should have the best speed. There it is. Yeah. Absolutely.
Shoots the chicane pretty nicely. No big skids. Keeps the speed on board. Quarter of a second margin over Lotholtz, coming down a fraction. Melissa was clean at the bottom. Can't afford to make a tap on the wall before the line.
And she did it.
Yeah, 60.03. 800s quicker than Melissa Lotholtz just in that run.
So added a 10th on her lead against Melissa. That will make it a little bit of a tight race between her and this next Swiss slider. She has to be proud of that finish.
Yeah. And it's not over yet. The next couple of sleds are very, very close.
Took a good line there out of Shady 2 with a nice transition. Comes across, just doesn't hit the wall, comes on early there, which definitely helped her, saved her a lot of time and her speed, and a great chicane here for Grecu. Get a little tap, that's very minor. If you're not going to shoot it, that's what we want to see.
So Andrea Grecu, her best run, 60.03, and Deborah Annan just 2 slender hundreds her advantage. This is effectively a dead heat. These 3 sleds covered by 600s or 700s of a second. So Deborah Annan first up. Kim Kilicki waits in the wings.
Will she stay in the leader's box? Everyone's goal once they get down. They did their job. Now they're just going to try to see how can it compare to someone else.
She overhauled Andrea Grecu on the last run. In fact, a couple of sleds. Kim Kilicki also jumped ahead of Grecu from 11th up to 9th as Andrea slipped down to 14th.
So consistent. 6-second start. She's done that in 3 of her 4 heats. Queen of consistency. Really good top half. She is getting the track. I spoke too soon.
There you go. She got a really odd snag on the wall with the left front bunk, and it just fired her across. And that is going to rob her of lots of speed. You can't afford to make mistakes, make contact up top.
And that's why we see the 5th fastest speed only through this part of the track right now.
And she's gone from 200s to 2/10ths back, and that gap is going to really start to yawn. Melissa Lotholtz 2200s behind Andrea Grecu, and I think
number 1 speed.
Yeah, well, can she bring back 2/10ths in the heart?
It was a great chicane. Really nice here at the bottom. 1400ths of a second. It's going to be close across the line.
It's going to be 700s. Andrea Grecu with the lead by 600s.
Grecu clapping there, moving up 1 in the leader's box. She'll definitely be proud of that, but this young Swiss slider should be very proud of her efforts in Lake Placid.
Yeah.
Outside of that one small mistake, her run looked really nice, Mark.
Yeah. She's been a firm top 10 contender all season long, but that little bump, there's just a tiny bit of ice sticking out, and she snagged it, and that is enough to take a couple of 10ths out of the sled.
Anytime here that back bunk hits and it does not hit parallel, you are in trouble.
Especially when it's flat. You know, on a corner, you've got the pressure to help keep the sled on the ice. When it's flat and that is at the top, then the sled is going to skate all over the place.
A big smile out of her, only one representing the Swiss program right now. Melanie, we miss you. We're hoping to see you back next week, but great job holding it down.
All right, Kim Kilicki for Germany, 11th place after 3 heats, 1.6 seconds off the lead. Do not expect to see her that far back or that low down in the women's bob next weekend. She will be a medal contender.
596 start, not her best, but definitely not her worst. Much better than it was yesterday. Kim has gotten better on every single run, going from 14th fastest to 11th fastest to 9th fastest. What can she put together for this final run?
Really starting to dial herself into this Lake Placid track, and that knowledge is going to be really important next week when she's vying for medals in women's bob.
She has an incredible brakeman behind her, but even right now, number 1 speed for 100ths of a second. I know Grecu's in the leader box, holding her breath. What's going to happen? She can lose it anywhere. She needs to have a very clean chicane right here to maintain that lead.
Well, she was 800ths ahead of Andrea Grecu. She's only just creeping out to 600ths in front of the Romanian slider.
Still the best speed. 900ths of a second.
This is just 100th quicker than Grecu on this run, and that was a little squirrely. She should have it.
900ths of a second.
Wow. Grecu came down 60.03. Kim came down 60.02. She added just 100th on that run.
What a race. Again, even though these aren't for the medals, this is what you want. You want to see good competition, holding your breath at the end of your seat, 100ths of a second separating these sliders.
If this was a 1-heat race, Then Kim Kilicki would lead by 100 from Andrea Grecu, with Melissa Lotholtz and Deborah Annan tied 800s behind them.
Wow.
That's how close these sleds are.
And this is one of the longest tracks.
Yep.
To be that close. Lake Placid has 20 curves. To put in perspective, Eagles in Austria only has 14.
Yeah. So Kim Kilicki, the leader, from Andrea Grecu and Deborah Annan. 10 down, 10 to go. The final run of the IBSF Women's Monobob World Championships. And what a strange day for weather it has been. We had blowing wind and snow in the first heat. We've got sun and still air in the second heat. So the conditions could not be better. And good for the fans as well.
There's some USA Luge athletes there supporting us. That's phenomenal. We're so happy to see home field advantage, people coming here and supporting on women.
Well, Lake Placid is ground zero for sliding in the US. You know, luge as well as bobsleigh and skeleton. So, for instance, my longtime colleague John Morgan, his dad was a bobsledder, his brothers and he were all bobsledders. His sister slid luge for the USA. So it is a family sport, and this is a big part of a small town life here. It's a small town up in the mountains, and it has this phenomenal facility. And for 95 years, people have been racing down here in Mount Van Hoevenberg. So there's a lot of tradition.
And it's so fun when other athletes get to support each other. We stay together at the big training center here in New York, and we get to talk about sliding on the same tracks, but completely different sports. And so we come out and support each other and just like, teach me, this is awesome. But also, we think they're crazy. They think we're crazy with the speeds and what we do. We're Alana fan club. Look at that. Mom, advocate,
athlete, and Olympic champion. Well, there you go, Alana Myers-Taylor. She'll be coming down in the final 10 sleds, looking for a medal, and the US could take 2 medals away from this competition, the first of the World Championships.
And here we're about to see Margot from France. She has struggled a little bit this season. I was just talking to her before this. This is her best performance she's having so far. I was talking to her brakeman. Tell me about your pilot. She goes, she's always serious.
I will correct myself. There was, of course, gold last night for the USA in the skeleton mixed team competition. Austin Florian and Mystique Rowe claimed the gold to tumultuous reception from a rowdy bunch who probably got much rowdier in zigzags afterwards. All right, here we go. 10 to go in the Worlds for Monobob. Margot Bock in the top 10. Now, the French driver, she is on course to equal her best ever World Championship result, 10th place in Winterberg last year.
Extremely consistent at the start. That was a 6:03. Her other heats was 6:01, 6:02. So she is all within 200s at the start. Consistency will win you this race.
And she drives so beautifully as well. She can undo that start deficit. And there she is already, best speed of all.
She is a phenomenal driver. Like we talked about earlier, she's not one of the biggest athletes, so she knows that she's going to struggle a little bit at the start compared to everyone else, but she can drive. She has great hands and a feeling for the sled.
Gap has come down from 1700s to 1000s to 800s over Kim Kilicki. Gets a double tap and a huge skid sideways out of the chicane. 600s up, she'll be in the red as she comes through the heart.
Yep, there it is. She's going to start bleeding speed, especially on this uphill portion of the track. You can
across the line, ducks ahead, 800s back, 60.34.
Just drops her out of the top 10, which is going to be really tough when she sees and goes back and watches that run. That one mistake in the chicane going sideways will cost her at least a 10th minimally.
Well, it's not a guarantee that she will stay out of the top 10. Other sliders can make mistakes just as she did. So for now, she's not guaranteed to be in the top 10. Will be no worse than 11th.
And we now have the next 2 sliders, Brianna Walker and Kaylee, just 1/100th apart from each other.
Yeah.
So there's definitely room to shake, but this is what killed her. Absolutely, completely sideways, runners off the ice. That was one of the biggest skids that we've seen so far, and she's so frustrated about it.
Yeah. She'd have hated that run if it was in training. She really hates it as it's the final run of the Worlds. So for Bree Walker, the 32-year-old from Australia, her 4th World Championship. She finished 4th in St. Moritz 23 and Winterberg 24. But it's not going to be a top 4 finish here. What can she salvage out of this? She's only 100th behind Kaylee Humphries. So there is the battle. Brianna Walker versus the Olympic monobob champion.
6:00 getaway, not her fastest, but overall pretty consistent with what she has been doing, which is why we see the third best speed. But Brianna Walker can drive, and she can drive this Lake Placid track. She has won before. She has slid here plenty of times. She can get this back together, and it looks like so far she's having a very nice run.
Fourth best speed, though. We've seen the last two sleds hitting top speed numbers.
Number one speed, there it goes. She should pull away. Very nice exit of 10, gonna help give her that nice kick over here into 12. Let's have a clean chicane, Bree.
3/10's the advantage, 3700s. I know her mum and dad are watching back home in Oz, where it is already Monday.
And her other teammate, Sarah Blizzard. I know she's screaming for the Aussies. Everyone wants to see their own country do really well. Ducks are headed the finish line.
59.85 run, and that is quicker than her first this morning by 1700s.
She will be very, very pleased with that. That's the fastest speed, top speed we've seen so far at 123 kilometers. Overall, one of her better runs, a great thing to end on. Now, what is Kaylee going to do?
Kaylee's going to do what she always does, which is go to the bank and withdraw whatever there is.
So we see here coming around 10, very nice line, just nice and easy, slowly coming off that corner, which gives her that little bit of a pressure at the end and is going to kick her nice onto 11. Very nice line right there from Brianna Walker. Chicane came out. I think she would have liked to shoot it a little bit better, but hits that little tap right there. Again, but pushes her over to 17 nicely. It's not the end of the world.
And there again, you see the hands, knuckles together. Look how far back she's seated, you know, almost in the back seat.
All right, Kaylee, let's see what she has.
Yep. Kaylee Humphries, Olympic champion ×2 in women's bobsleigh, Olympic champion in monobob in 2022.
And the only athlete to win gold from 2 different nations.
Yeah. 2010 and 2014 for Canada, she was the Olympic champion. And for the USA, she was the monobob champion in 2022.
Best start we've seen from Kaylee so far at 6 flat. That is definitely going to help her. She's outdriven her start time every single time. Number 1 speed going on so far, and arguably one of the best drivers to ever do it.
Just 100th in the bank over Brianna Walker from the first 3 heats, and she's driving away now. 109 kilometers an hour, 66 miles an hour.
You can never count Kaylee out. No matter where she is, this woman can drive, and she finds the speed. She feels it with her hands. Really nice run here. Second fastest speed, but is still increasing her lead over Bree Walker.
And again, leaning right back in the sled, tucked down out of the air. She's going to build this. It could be as close as 2/10 at the line.
800s.
Oh, wow, that went away in a hurry.
800ths of a second over Brianna Walker. That was a lot closer than I think we thought it was going to be at the finish, but she did it. It doesn't matter if it's 100th or 8/10. Kaylee, you did it. Great job.
Well, she was 100th up after 3 heats. She's opened that up to 800ths after 4. There's Shauna Roebuck with her.
No worse than 8th for Kaylee on a home track and monobob. I know she's not going to be extremely pleased, but given her circumstances of what she's been through this past year, overall, I think that's great momentum going into the 2-woman race.
Well, listen, she was starting somewhere between 12th and 14th, 15th fastest, and coming down somewhere 8th and 9th quickest. She can still drive, and by the time she's finished training this summer, next year, absolutely.
And there's her son, Alden, not even 1 year old yet.
No, born in July, so it's going to be mid-summer.
Travis, and her parents right there with her.
They've come down from Canada to see and to be babysitting. Now, Lisa Buchwitz, our World Cup champion this year. Buchwitz, the World Championship bronze medalist in Winterberg. Not having that success, but again, not that familiar with this track. She only started driving again in 2022.
But really nice lines here. Great start, 579, 1, 2, and 3 looking really good for Buchwitz, and that's why you see her speed climbing and gaining Kaylee will always be slower than Buckwitz, but now it comes down to who can drive best, given that deficit.
Well, Lisa's won 3 races this year, won, 5 last year, I think, in the World Cup. She's been an astonishing monobob driver.
Overall, won monobob this year. I was talking to her about it. I was like, you know how to win. You're a great driver. She just said, Lake Placid is tough.
Yes, it is, but so too is Altenberg, so too is Lillehammer. Lake Placid is pretty physical, but she's got 8/10 over Kaylee Humphrey. Started the run with 8/10 over Kaylee and finishes the run with 9/10.
And there's Alden and Kaylee. Great job. But overall, Lisa will be happy with that. Maintain no worse than 7th place. Can she creep into the top 6 here? We will see. But look at her, hands in the air. It's like she won. She's so proud to be done.
That is a huge improvement. Her runs 59.84, 65, 63, 48.
Wow.
That's a massive run from Lisa Buckwitz.
That's what you want to see, is that she put everything together in this last run. She's leaving, feeling good, going into the 2-1 race. We know she's going to have a strong brakeman. They're going to have a great start in 2-man, and we're going to see what she can put together next week.
Leaning back in the sled like a Formula 1 driver. She's so far back to get the weight over the axle to give her the control.
Happy dance.
Baby.
Great job, Lisa.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy, her new favorite phrase.
All right, now we
Okay.
enter the top 6.
All right, and Kristen Bujanowski, 3rd fastest, 8th fastest, 4th fastest runs. She needs another top 3 run to move up from 6th and pile the pressure on our current top 3. And it's in there. It just needs to come out right now.
And a top starter. She's had top 3 starts every single time. A 580. Great job, Bouge. 400s faster than her heat prior. She wants to give this everything she has, and she knows she's got to have a strong start to do it.
Fastest starts of the competition is a 577 from Keisha Love, an 80. She's had 2 of them, 2nd fastest starts of all.
We're seeing here she's still in the green. The speed's not there where she wants, but this is a critical part of the track to gain that speed. Speed is going up now. 4th fastest speed, but only 300ths.
Oh, Buckwitz had such a strong run. I don't think Bouge.
No.
She's blue, that's level. She's red, that's behind.
200ths of a second, though. You still can gain some speed here, Martin.
Only the 6th fastest, and she rattled her way through the chicane.
This is for top 6 here.
Lisa Buckwitz stays in the leader's box.
Anything can happen at the top of this track. Give a little head duck and 1700ths of a second. Lisa Buckwitz gets over on Christian Bujanowski, but wow, what a run for her. What a World Championships for her. No worse than 7th place on her very first outing.
Nice work, Bouge.
I know she will be a little bit frustrated with that, but we see that Canadian flag flying of her fans.
Well, listen, it's not done. She was only 600ths behind Cynthia Appiah.
It's true.
And if Sin does not hold, if she does not hold that pace, then she could drop back as well.
Overall, nothing too crucial that Bouge did not do in this run. She had a great start. These lines look pretty good, just little taps here and there. And sometimes on Lake Placid, you have to be absolutely perfect when you're going against the world's best.
Can I just point out, rookie World Championship driver in the top 6 and with a 3rd best run in a field that is missing nobody.
Nothing
Apart
that she
from Melly
can't be.
Hassan.
Yeah, but she has to be so proud right now. I know Canada's proud of her. I know Josh is proud of her, her family, everyone watching from Canada. And what can she do against her teammate?
Well, Cynthia Appiah looking for a medal here. She's had 1 World Cup medal, 2 only top 6 finishes this season. She's ending at least on the upward trend.
580 push to tie Bouge, her teammate.
So the last 3, Buckwitz a 579 and 2 580s from the Canadians.
Absolutely impressive. Really strong starts from the Canadian team. I want to know what they're eating other than the maple syrup on their pancakes.
4th best speed though, the gap's coming back down. It's halved from 23 to 1200s.
It's going to be a tight race here for these ladies.
And don't forget the leader.
800ths of a second.
Leader is Lisa Buckwitz, not Kristen Bujanowski, who's 1700ths further back in the red. Oh!
Hung it up on 12 a little bit there, which comes off. Not what you want to see. That will kill some of her speed. But awesome chicane, 7th best speed, 600ths of a second. It's going to be close at the bottom, Martin.
I'm not sure she's got enough speed on board.
600ths of a second.
If she sneaks in front, this is going to be a really good bottom half of the track.
What's it going to be?
She does.
700ths of a second.
Well,
wow.
And that's impressive because Lisa Buchwitz found speed at the bottom that we weren't expecting. A 59.65 run for Cynthia Appiah. She is in the top 5. She is on the wider podium, and that is a good result.
With that, no worse than 5th in worlds on not necessarily your home track, but a North American track is definitely something that she is proud of. Still had some issues there. Corner 2 is killing people, but you see here, her back, she hung it up a little bit too much, which threw her off of that curve, put her in a little bit of disarray, but she was able to get it back on track. An incredible chicane. This is why she held on to her lead of 0.07 of a second.
Well, her previous World Championship best, Altenburg 2021, she was 5th in mono. She will be no worse than that, so we're PB territory. But what about Katie Bile?
Yeah,
Katie was 100th ahead of Appiah after 3 heats, but she slipped out from the overnight silver medal position to 4th. If she can summon up one of the runs that she had yesterday, she could be in the medals.
She's been driving great. She's been pushing great. I think she's having a stellar performance. 591, just 100ths off what she did in Heat 3. Puts her behind Cynthia, but she can drive it. She has been doing it this past 2 days.
Yeah, she's in the red by a 10th. Let's see what she can produce now. Katie Bile, the 32-year-old from Austria. 2-time Olympian, 4-time World Championship appearance.
This is looking like a really nice drive for her right now. 0.06 of a second, 8th fastest speed. This is a critical part of the track to gain speed. Can she do it? Dropping back a little bit.
Bringing it right back. A 10th to 800 to 600. She needs a clean chicane. 800. A little quicker than Cynthia, maybe down through the bottom.
It's going to be close, Martin.
Her best ever result is an 8th place finish. The gap's going out. She's not going to be in the medals, but it is a top 5 for Katie Bile of Austria. No, it's not.
Wow.
She drops 2 spots.
She drops behind Lisa Buchwitz, bringing up Lisa and Cynthia. Overall, though, I know her coaches may not be the most proud of it, but Katie should be so proud of her outing in monobob here in Lake Placid.
Well, she absolutely will be. It's not a medal for Austria, at least not yet, but she has her best ever World Championship result. But after being a surprised 2nd place overnight, she'll perhaps be a surprised 7th place at the end.
Honestly, she pushed well, she drove well. It's just here that mistake in the chicane can cost you when we're just talking about a 10th of a second here. But overall, great effort, great World Championships in mono. Carry this over until 2 women.
So Cynthia Appiah moves up, Lisa Buchwitz moves up, and it's still a personal best for Katie Bile, her best ever World Championship finish in mono. And so to the top 3, Alana Myers-Taylor. She had 1600s in hand over Cynthia Appiah, and that 3rd heat was the one. Top 4 on day 1, boom, into the medals on day 2, and this is not to seal bronze, this is to lay down something that challenges for gold. 585, good start.
100th off her last one, extremely consistent Alana. Alana's great at the top, but even better driving. Amazing 2 to 3, an amazing 3 here that's going to help build her speed and help increase her chances of getting a medal here on her home track.
1400s up on Cynthia Appiah, extending her advantage.
North America versus North America.
Yeah, it's not about who's behind, it's about the 2 that are yet to leave the dressing room. Only 4th best speed for Alana. She needs the big numbers if she can get them in terms of top speed.
Her speed should be pretty good here. Chicane, not too bad. Just about 0.2 of a second. She should be able to hang on and at least get into the medals mark.
Almost nobody shooting the chicane at the moment. 2200s up.
She's gaining.
She will take a medal, but of what color? At the moment, she leads with 2 to go.
Medal for Team USA. There's Scheimer and Dennis looking so happy, hugging each other. Alana must be so proud coming down, seeing that #1 right there. There it is. Great job, Alana. Oh my gosh, I can barely hold in my excitement right now.
Well, I know her husband Nick is here. I haven't seen him. Shauna Roebuck there to offer her congratulations. Alana is in the medals. Cynthia with a personal best as well. She's previously been 5th in the world. She will be no worse than 4th.
That is a great run here for Alana. She's been so consistent. Fourth, second. This will be no worse than a fourth run again for her.
Yeah.
Consistency has been the key, showing that she is one of the best drivers in the world.
Well, the best run so far is from Lisa Marie Buchwitz, a 59.48.
Great job, Alana. Look at her. I know she must be so proud. I know her two sons are extremely proud of her as well.
Yeah, Laura Nolte then, 1700s off the lead, only 700s in hand over Lana Myers-Taylor. This for a medal for the two-time world champion.
5:88 start. She's done that in 3 out of her 4 heats. Again, consistency is key. Great start for Laura Nolte. A little bit of trouble there, 2-3 again. She's struggled in training, and a little bit of a sideways action coming out of 3 as well.
Now, is that going to cost her a medal? It costs her the lead. She only had 700s in hand, started 300 slower than Alana Myers-Taylor. Now, like Francesco Friedrich did in the two-man, she's got to drive herself back in front.
That will cost her speed, but she can get it back here. We're seeing she's still in that second place. Let's see what her speed is coming through chicane. Number 1 speed, 600ths of a second.
Clean chicane. She needs to lead at the line if the three-peat is going to survive.
300ths of a second. This is going to come down to it, Martin.
No! Tied! She's going in front of the line. Yes, she does.
500ths of a second. I think we were all holding our breath there. Alana, you and I, and all the fans. Laura Nolte, no worse than a silver medal in this World Champs. Look at her, up and down, screaming, high knees, hugging everybody. She knows Lake Placid was a hard track, and she did it.
Lisa offering her congratulations.
There's her mom and her dad. Oh, they must be so proud of her. Look at her.
Well, look, you win World Championships in Germany and in Europe, okay.
Yeah.
You win it away from home, on the road, on a track that you're really not that familiar with. And this is fantastic. Her first monobob win was in Park City. It was in America, on a track she doesn't really know. And now she's going to take a World Championship medal here, at least a silver, again in the US.
That tells you how great of an athlete and a driver she is. If you can put her anywhere and she's able to be successful, she's coachable, she learns, she knows the sport in and out.
But she's got at least 1 Olympic quad of driving experience, if not 2, over our current leader. First, third, and third for Keisha Love. Fastest starter in the competition with a 5:77.
I think we're going to see a great push time here out of Keisha Love. Let's see what she can do.
And look how she gets in.
5:77 again. Atta girl. Tied what she did yesterday. Today, first #1 start for Keisha Love.
And a phenomenal load. No energy goes astray as she gets in. Now she has to drive. She has to hold on to this.
4/10 of a second with a lead. #1 speed already. She just needs to drive like she knows how to do.
1700s up after 3 hits.
She's gaining.
Wow.
Half a second lead right now. Second fastest speed, but with a clean 12 right here, like she just did, she should maintain and hold on to it.
She can pull on the parking brake and go backwards through the chicane. She's got so much
Second
speed.
fastest speed. She is going to be a world champion on home ice, Martin. USA is going to claim the gold.
What a demonstration. Keisha Love led from the first run of the competition, and Keisha Love wins the gold at home.
Yes, 4/10 of a second. Look at everybody right now. All of USA is screaming. She's crying. Oh my gosh, she just did it. She did it. First World Championship gold for this girl. Definitely not her last. And she did it in a way where she just crushed the competition. 4/10 of a second. Look at her. Teammate Alana got third. Is celebrating Keisha's victory over her. And Laura Nolte coming in. Everyone knows what this means to Keisha. She's worked so hard. She's had a lot of setbacks throughout the year. But man, she just did it. And did it in style. I love seeing all the athletes come together, hug each other, love each other. Everyone wanted everyone to be successful. They wanted their best versus everyone else's best. And a USA chant right there for the whole crowd. Alana starting that. Keisha fighting back tears, trying to smile, not knowing what emotion's going to come out of her. I know her family back at home is so proud. They're going to be on their way coming here next week. Great job, Keisha Love. Owned it the whole time. Heat 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's It's going to be an incredible week of racing next week for the two-woman event. Man, what a race.
What a race. And not just the speed at the start, not just the drive, but being able to keep the noise out inside her head and just focus on the job like it's another day. World champion Keisha Love.
Absolutely incredible. Look at her here, just trying to take in this moment. Again, she doesn't know what to do.
We're not crying, you're crying.
Yeah.
Keisha Love. Wow. The world champion. And in 2022, she was still pushing sleds as one of the US's top brake women by 4400s over Laura Nolte, who sneaked the silver 500s away from Alana Myers-Taylor. Cynthia Peer, Lisa Buchwitz and Katie Bile round out the wider podium. Christian Bujnowski ahead of former driver Kaylee Humphreys, and then Brianna Walker and Kim Kalicki rounding out the 10. Bok, Grecu, Alan Lotholtz, Kim and the rest of them are top 20.
There it is. We saw 3 North America sliders in the top 6. Definitely a home field advantage, but overall it doesn't matter. You still have to do it 4 times, and the North American sliders did do that. Nolte put up a great race to challenge these sliders from Germany, and Lisa Buchwitz moving into the top 6.
And don't forget, this season, Lisa's taken 3 wins, Laura's taken 1, Alana's taken 2 wins in the World Cup, so too Keisha has taken just the single win, and now her second win of the season.
Amazing top
It's
3.
a biggie.
They're all so happy for each other, holding their nation's flags, but loving each other, so proud of each other's accomplishments, and that's what you want to see in women's sports. Women uplifting women. Keisha's saying she has no words. She doesn't even know what to do right now.
She better think of some. I'm going to go out and interview her in a minute.
She's going to have a lot, especially winning World Championships in mono going in the year before the Olympic Games. These 3 ladies are definitely people to look out for next year.
This field in the Olympic Games is going to be simply breathtaking. It's such a dynamic sport. Young, experienced, inexperienced. Age is no handicap here. It's all about knowledge and speed. What a World Championships. Well, thank you for being with us. Thanks for Riley for great words all the way through, and congratulations to our podium finishers and all our finishers. And that's it for this weekend. We'll be back next week with women's bob and 4-man. We'll see you then.
Great
Bye
job,
for
ladies.
now.
Great job, congratulations.
The competition here in the International Bobsled Skeleton Federation World Championships being held at Placid here at Mount Van Hoevenberg. Congratulations to all the monobob pilots, the skeleton athletes, the luge athletes, the bobsledders, 2-person, 4-man, Mount Van Hoevenberg, the heartbeat of sliding in America. We're going to have a medals presentation. The medals closet area will be held shortly down at Lake Placid. Work your way down there to see these athletes up close. Congratulations once again to all our competitors, and a special warm thanks to Bree alongside me over these heart-filled last couple of days.
Carl, it's been an honor.